Hello everyone, Dr. Stillman here, and today we are going to talk about the ins and outs of sodium and potassium. I'm going to be doing a book club on this later this year over my Substack blog, that's stillmanmd.substack.com. Today we are going to cover why sodium and potassium are so important, and the ratio is really what you need to be looking at, not the overall number of each one, because these minerals truly balance one another. And it's very easy for people to get caught in a bad thinking like salt is bad, potassium is good, when in fact the truth is closer to you need the right amount of both, and the amount that you need may vary with your unique biochemistry and with your current state of health, stress, etc. I'm going to be doing a behind the paywall Substack blog on that, a premium material on that for people later this year. It's going to be packed with lots of valuable information, so make sure you subscribe to the Substack blog. Today, we're going to cover the basics of why I think this is so important for your health and longevity and avoiding the diseases that everyone wants to avoid as they get older. Large scale studies over the amount of sodium you take in per day, and then looking at all cause mortality, as in how likely you are to die. So, number one, this is estimates of 24-hour urine samples. I think that introduces some error, right? Because what if you just happen to eat a lot of sodium on those days? It is possible. That's why you need lots and lots of data points. But to be fair, most people tend to eat the same things over and over and over again every day. And what they found is the more sodium you took in, increased risk of mortality for high sodium intake and a direct relationship with total mortality. So the more sodium you take in, the higher your risk of death, even at the lowest levels of sodium intake. I would like to point out that the lowest level of sodium intake is 2300. Lots of you are actually eating less than that. Why? Because you're health conscious consumers who either don't think to or haven't learned to or have been told not to salt your food. Over here, 4,800 milligrams, that is a stupid amount of salt. I wouldn't even find food that salty to be appealing and appetizing and tasty. I wouldn't eat it. That's how much salt that is. We're going to get into the nitty gritty details of this later so you can really see how this looks in a diet. So the more salt you take in this study, the more likely you are to die. Seems simple, right? Not so fast. Other studies have found that sodium intake correlates positively with life expectancy and inversely with all-cause mortality worldwide and in high-income countries. Why might that be? First of all, when you look at the globe, lots of different people, lots of different culinary traditions. We're going to talk a little bit more about this when we get to the chronometer data because it's fun to think about. And it also makes this a lot less confusing. This study, a significant nonlinear association was found between sodium intake and cardiovascular mortality risk among studies assessing urinary sodium excretion with a relatively steep slope at sodium intakes above 2,400 milligrams per day. What does that mean? It means that if you go above 2,400 milligrams a day, that's what we might describe as the danger zone. That's too much sodium for your body to handle. It's going to chase out potassium. One of the things we know very clearly is the lower your total body potassium, the older you are physiologically. I don't care what your telomere lengths are. I don't care what your hemoglobin A1C is. I mean, I do, but I don't. To me, I care way more about total body potassium levels because I've seen how important they are in clinical practice. And this brings me to my main point today, which is that the sodium to potassium ratio is what's really, really, really important because these two things balance one another, and excesses of one or the other can create issues. And people are frequently lacking one or the other in their diet or in their supplement protocol, and so it needs to be reintroduced in a rational, logical way that doesn't overshoot. I like this study because it's a dietary sodium to potassium ratio assessed by weighing things. Weight matters. And people who just say, I eat a lot of this or I eat a lot of that, get totally lost and sick and confused. And then they come to me and we actually weigh what they're eating. And it's like, oh, well, this is why you're getting what you're getting. You thought you were eating a lot of this and really you're eating an enormous quantity of this, or you're eating some of this and really you're eating a lot of it, or it contains a lot of a nutrient that you didn't really think about. If this video has been helpful to you, make sure that you check out my link tree below to find out how you can keep in touch with me best. And if you would like to become a patient at my practice, please apply to work with me at stillmanmd.com. Thank you again for watching. Have a great day.